What is up everybody and welcome back to another Among Us video, and in this video I'm going to be telling you why you should never play Among Us at 2 a.m. It was early in the morning and I wanted to play a few matches of Among Us. But then I made a terrifying discovery. Killer is back, and he has summoned some of the most dangerous imposters in all of Among Us, such as Murray, the King of Polis, Ivan, the King of Imposters, Red, the Supreme Imposter, and Saboteur, the brother of Ivan and Red. I managed to face these creatures when I was playing Among Us at 2 a.m. and you won't believe what happened. And before we get any further into this video, I do want to mention that 70% of you have not hit that subscribe button, which means that you're missing out on Among Us Darkest Secrets. So why not solve that issue by hitting the subscribe button with the bell icon turned on, and dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy. But now, let's begin with today's story video. So something strange happened to me while I was playing Among Us. It was currently 2 in the morning and I joined a random lobby. I ended up being a crewmate and I was on the map of Polis. And when we all spawned in, I saw a familiar player that I didn't notice in the lobby. It was Killer. Killer left, so I did my 2 tasks in the dropship, but I was really confused on why he was in my lobby. It has been several weeks since I last saw him. I began to look around the map because he's known as a very dangerous player, and I wanted to see what he was doing. I didn't see anything in O2, so I made my way over to the security cameras. The cameras should give me a better view. As I was looking through the cameras, I saw Killer, and he was standing next to the hole. What is he doing there? There is a task there, but he doesn't seem to be doing it. So I continued to scroll through the cameras, and when I looked again, he was gone. I left the security and searched for Killer, but first I need to check vitals to make sure that he isn't dead. It showed that he was still alive, so I went over to the laboratory to check the hole, and I saw him just standing there, and he wasn't moving. 3 other players decided to join me, and it seems that they took notice of him. I went through the specimen room and I went back to the office. It has been a few minutes, so a few crewmates might be dead. So I checked the vitals, and everyone was still doing well. And that is when I noticed something strange. Right under Killer's face, it said that his color was cyan. That really concerned me because it was currently 2 in the morning, and during this time nobody is awake. So I need to be really careful with my actions, especially with a player like this in my lobby. I went and searched for Cyan. Maybe he can give me the answer on why Killer is just standing by the hole, since they seem to be connected in some way. I looked around the map and I eventually found him in dropship, and I began to follow Cyan. Cyan also had this weird mask that I've never seen before. But now that I found Cyan, I need to go look for Killer, and I'm assuming he's gonna be right next to the hole again. I was correct, but then I decided to stand right next to him. I wonder if he's seeing something that the rest of us can't. Several minutes had passed and more crewmates began to be concerned. We were all wondering what Killer was doing. We were all staring at the hole, but we couldn't see anything. I eventually left the area and I looked around the entire map in search for any clues. I didn't see anything, so I just continued to do my task. I just want this game to be over. After some time I returned back to the laboratory and I checked up on Killer, and he was still staring down there. It has now been about 20 minutes, and this was now becoming one of the longest games of Among Us that I've ever played. I need to get back to work. I began to do tasks across the entire map until eventually I returned back to the laboratory to do my node. I'm almost done completing everything. Now I gotta wait for the rest of the crewmates. But as I was leaving the laboratory, I saw Killer leave. I tried to follow him, but I didn't know where he went. He just vanished. I made my way over to office and into the specimen room. I have yet to check this location. I made my way through decontamination and into specimen, and I didn't see anything. So I returned back to the laboratory and I went to go check the hole. Since this was the area that Killer was standing, maybe he will return. But that is when the ground began to shake, and I could hear the sounds of a creature. Murray then came out of the hole, and this caused my game to crash. The King of Polis is back. After my game crashed, I wanted to return back to the game, and after a few seconds of waiting, it finally let me in, and Killer was still in the lobby. When the match started, Killer made a run for it. Wait, why is he running? As I made my way through the office area, I saw Killer standing outside. I walked up close to him, but then the ground began to shake. What is happening? I then saw Murray standing right behind me. I didn't know what to do because I was really scared, but then Killer took me out, and I was no longer in the game. I decided to create my own lobby because now I have control of my game. Because I was facing way too many issues in regular matches of Among Us. I set my room to private and I invited a few of my friends. I didn't want to have to face Killer, since he was doing a lot of strange things in my games, and I didn't want to deal with any of that. I then made my way over to the cafeteria and into the balcony, and I began to do my asteroids task. The lights to Mira HQ were also off. After I finished my asteroids, I went over to measure the weather, but nobody seemed to be turning on the lights. What is going on over there? So I left the cafeteria and I made my way over there. I began to look around the area for any bodies. Crewmates usually go down whenever the lights are off. I didn't see anything, so I went inside of the office to turn on the lights. And that is when I saw Killer. How did he even get in my game? I began to chase Killer down, but then I realized that that is a bad idea. I should turn on the lights first. After I turned on the lights, I went over to the cafeteria to look around, and that is when I found Killer out in the balcony. He was staring off into the distance, so I wasn't really sure what he was doing. But then I began to hear the sounds of a creature. The lights to the map began to flash, and that is when I saw Ivan and Killer transform into his form. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. What is going on? The lights then flashed again, and Ivan and Killer were nowhere to be seen. They were both gone. After that strange encounter, I joined another lobby, and Killer was in here. I had no other choice but to play with him. When we spawned inside a Polis, Orange was standing on top of the chairs, and Killer made a run for it. I then began to look around the map of Polis to look for Killer. And the reason why I returned to the map of Polis was to find an answer on why I saw Murray. I went over to the hole to see if Killer was there, since that's the location that I last saw him. I didn't see anything, so I continued to make my way to the laboratory, and I went over to Specimen. I didn't see him in here, so I went over to Admin, and Killer was nowhere to be seen. That is until I entered Weapons, and I saw Killer doing his asteroids. I don't think he saw me, so I hid behind the wall. Killer then walked out, and I got closer to him. What is he looking at? My screen then began to glitch, and I was really confused on what was happening, and that is when Saboteur appeared. Killer has now summoned him. I then appeared inside of the airship map, and I was inside of the cargo bay. I went down into medical, and I began to search around the electrical room, and I couldn't see any crewmates. I looked around the kitchen and the viewing deck and nothing, and same with the armory. Killer had to be in here somewhere, but where exactly could he be? The airship map is so massive. But then I realized something. I remember seeing Killer inside of the pictures when I was developing the photos, which was an imposter task. That means that Killer may be hiding inside of the main hall. I made my way over to the main hall and I began to look. I didn't see Killer anywhere, and it was now time to check the final room. I walked inside and I saw Killer, as I expected. Killer then made a run for it, and I began to chase him down. I wonder where he's taking me. As I was approaching the cargo bay, the airship map became darker and darker. What is happening? I could also hear the screams of several creatures, and when I walked inside the cargo bay, I saw Killer in his new form. But it wasn't just Killer. I also saw Ivan, Murray, Red, and Saboteur. They began to approach me, and then my game crashed. Looks like they're finally here for the war. If you would like me to add to the story, let's see if we can get this video to 30,000 likes. I do also want to give a massive shout out to Kitty King for helping me produce this video. If you would like to help out a smaller creator, make sure to go check out his channel and subscribe to him. And if you're new to the channel, want to see more Among Us story videos, make sure that you hit that subscribe button with the bell icon turned on. And check out these other Among Us story videos that I found on my channel.